And
And
then when you move, you'll be able to walk into the office and the words before the same way. So I'm going to do is push the red button.
We're going to start.
You know, you gotta get my
So you might have to be able to answer a phone. Student Union 218.
No, there is a football game.
Oh, just go upstairs.
Why don't you get Tebow?
And you'll find 218.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, first of all, you don't know what's what is.
Okay, fine.
Don't worry about this.
Yeah, we barely make sense.
Oh, okay, so that's it. Red button
Unless
on.
you
There's only one thing with middle Constantine that ever made my life. It never happened.
I don't care, wherever
Right now,
it works
I'm
best.
for you guys. Just know what's going on.
You're
Know
starting
what's
that
going on.
great contact
Water over
again.
here.
Outside of.
Is it good? Is it?
Yes,
Alright, see you later.
To be determined.
has to be.
We'll see. I did spend about 10
John, if you're ready to go, tell me, I'll introduce you about, when you're ready, tell me.
So fun.
civilization.
Oh.
So maybe a little bit of interaction is good today. We'll see.
Well, thanks everybody for coming out. Just before we get started, a couple announcements. So the semester's over. Yay, hope everyone's finals went well. And we're excited to start next semester and hopefully have a lot of really cool activities. We've got a couple different speakers lined up to come hopefully, and some great activities. And if you want to stay after and help plan out a little bit, that'd be awesome. We'll stay after for like 20 minutes and just kind of go over some stuff we want to do for the spring. If there's any ideas you might have. And also, keep in mind January, when we have our January meeting, we're going to hold elections. Every semester we're going to hold new elections, so every office is open. If there's an office that you would like to go for, then let me know. So I'll let our guests take it over from here.
Do you want to turn your phones off, guys?
I already did.
Okay.
I just want to thank you guys for allowing us to come on here, appreciate it. Hopefully you'll find this helping us enlightening and definitely something to think about, and that's what our objective is. Now, I'm going to introduce John Peirson. He's been studying these topics for over 30 years. And so he's going to talk about so many, he's going to give an introduction, and I'm going to go into more of the scientific aspects. So John's going to spend probably 5 minutes just giving an introduction, explaining some ideas. And I'm just going to go into some arguments, very brief, because I know I was limited in time. Okay, so I don't have, again, I have a slew of books later on, show you the books, the things that, for those who are interested in reading some of this stuff. Go ahead, John.
The idea of whether or not there's a God or a creator, can this light be turned off?
Wait, John.
How do I do
John, I'm pushing it, still stand by. Oh, there, now it's, okay.
What's that?
that? Can I turn this light off?
Oh,
Can I go back? Oh, just, you sure that won't overheat the bulb?
No, that's up to that.
The idea of whether or not there is a God, a creator, an intelligent designer, be he a interplanetary alien, interdimensional alien, or God, is philosophical, theological, and scientific argument. I'm going to bring you a little bit along the philosophic line more than the scientific line. Rich will bring you more along the scientific line. One of the first things that we have to consider when we're looking at this is that there is no absolute evidence on either side. I don't care which one you take. There's no absolute evidence. That doesn't mean there is no evidence. There's very little in this world we can actually prove in the absolute. I'm sure we'd all agree on that. Our job, if we are seekers of truth, that would be philosophers, or seekers of wisdom, philosophers, seekers of truth, science, we have to follow the evidence. Evidence changes as we learn. If we fail to change with it, we become propagators of either our own arrogance or propagators of dead information, obsolete information. This is in reality a faith versus faith argument. It is not a faith versus science argument. The reason for that is that we have to look at two things: the nature of truth and the nature of evidence. Many people believe that truth is relative. Many people believe that truth is absolute. Evidence is something that is accepted by one person that someone else may not accept as evidence. Our decisions, our conclusions are based on how we view truth and what we will or will not accept as evidence. Now, Aristotle once said that any conclusion based on a false premise is a false conclusion. Jesus of Nazareth once said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Pontius Pilate asked a very important question: what is truth? We must consider all three if we are going to be seekers of truth. Now, with Aristotle, he understood that if you start in the wrong place, even if you have the right directions, you're not going to wind up in the right place. Where you go and how you get to the next place is determined from where you're coming from. We all approach investigation with a priori arguments, with preconceived ideas, with things we already believe. And the most difficult thing we do is strive to be objective, because it is not in our nature to be objective. We're egotists. We like to be right. Nobody in here wants to be wrong, do they? Lewis Carroll wrote a book called Alice Through the Looking Glass. In that book, Alice confronts Humpty Dumpty. And Humpty Dumpty in the conversation uses a word improperly. And Alice says, "That is not the proper use of that word." And Humpty Dumpty said, "A word means exactly what I want it to mean when I use it." Now you can imagine what kind of conversations and investigations we can have if we all think that way and live in a Humpty Dumpty world. 38 years I've been doing apologetics for Christianity. And I have seen people who want to live in a Humpty Dumpty world on every side of the argument. It's not limited to people who don't believe in God, and it's not limited to people who do. It's everybody. We have to strive to be objective. In the book of Proverbs in the Bible, it says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." The sharpening process is a process of contention. It is iron against iron. It's steel against the stone. That's how you get rid of the nicks, the chips, and the scratches. How you come to a sharp edge. Truth is no different. You do not know truth by the people who believe in it and argue for it. If you want to know whether or not something is true, test it against the arguments of its adversary and see whether or not it will stand up.